It is literally at the darkest moment, right, when it dawns. It is literally at the darkest moment. So you don't really even get to the next level to your darkest moments. So that's why I'm saying stop tripping when it get dark and you running. You running from your success. I never quit because I realized I went through why would you do something for 10 years, then quit? Why would you do something for 11 years, then quit? So for a lot of you, if you was gonna quit, you should have quit when you put your first grand in it. You like 20,000 deep now. You like 9,800 hours deep into it. It only take 10,000 hours. It is not the darkest moment that's the problem. You the problem, and your perspective is the problem. You thought you was just gonna have a dream and a goal, and you was just gonna wake up and just walk into the sunset. You're like, dream, boom. It don't work like that. You have a dream, and then life punks you. Life punks you and say, do you really want this? You gonna lose friends. Do you really want this? Do you really want this? Cousins gonna abandon you. People that you used to be like this with gonna think you bougie and don't wanna deal with you. It's a part of it, but I paid too much.
I was willing. The reason why a lot of people won't become who they want is because they're too attached to who they've been. And you hear it all the time when people say, I've always been this way. Okay, well, if that's working for you, keep doing that. I knew it wasn't working for me any longer. I had hit my version of rock bottom. So I was willing to let go of everything and everybody. See, another reason why people won't get there is because the doorway is for you to fit through. You trying to carry everybody else through because you're trying to be Rescue 911. And you got to rescue you first. I am much more valuable to my family and to my community because I was willing to let them go through the door myself, teach myself, learn myself, condition myself, and then come back and get them. I'm much more valuable to them now. But I had to go through a window time of 10 years of judgment. You leaving us, hanging out with white people all the time. You going to these crazy countries. We don't know what you. I had to be willing to allow my conviction to make me inconvenienced. See, we want to grow, but we want to stay liked by everybody. I was willing to be my own rescue at the risk of your approval. But most of us aren't like that. Facebook is an example. We want to be liked. Well, I woke up and I like myself today, so your like is extra. My job is to like me first. I was willing to say every day, Lisa, you like you? Lisa, are you proud of you? Lisa, are you playing full out? Every day before I checked in with anybody else. That's lonely, by the way. Why won't most people do it? Because it's scary and it's lonely.
If I was gonna quit, I would have quit in the abandoned building when I wanted to commit suicide and take my life. I should have quit when I heard my voice say, your mama don't want you, your own daddy don't want you, take your life. I got through that, so why I'm gonna quit over an F on a grade? Come on. And so I'm telling y'all, you have come too far to quit now. You have invested too much to quit now. You have lost too much to quit now. Don't cry about it, don't whine about it. Get a reward for your pain.
What the hell were you all waiting for to start attacking life? Waiting for the stars to align? Back when I was growing up, the sun came out. All I need is a miracle. Well, guess what? That miracle ain't coming. There is no perfect time to start. You gotta start now with changing your life. We're all being tested in life. And guess what? This is one test you can't cheat on. We all have our own test. Some of us are obese. Some of us are depressed. Some of us are insecure. In the military, we have this big old rucksack on our back. Have batteries, water, extra gear. Your extra gear is you're dealing with in life. And the only way to overcome it is for you and you alone to face it. You have to do your best work when you're least motivated. So those days you don't want to do it, guess what you gotta do? You gotta suck it the f up and do it. Stay hard.
I'm putting the work now to make sure when I unwrap that, something that puts a smile on my face, a song in my heart. That's worth all this sweat equity, all the failures in life, all the short successes, everything that's added up to create those moments. Don't be scared to fail. I know it sucks at times, but we all do it. As far better guys have gone and failed and have never tried to succeed, never put any effort out there to want to further yourselves. That's a failed life, when you don't try to succeed. When you go after something and you fail, you just failed an opportunity, a moment. Life's made up of many of them. The ones that never try to succeed, that's a failed life. Ain't no good, man.
You're never really defeated until you're defeated on the inside. Probably nobody walked in here today. When we get discouraged, we almost feel ashamed. We almost feel embarrassed. We almost feel guilty. We don't want anybody to know that we're discouraged. I doubt when you turned to your neighbor and said hello or whatever, they spoke up and said, I'm really discouraged today. I feel like quitting. I'm thinking about I'll tell you, I've had it. Nobody does that. And yet it's almost like we ignore the dangers of prolonged discouragement. When you understand that, what really causes discouragement is given in this text. The Bible said they were discouraged because of the way. They were discouraged because of the why. They were saying, why are we in this desert? Why are we going through this? Why are we in this wilderness? Why? And usually when people get discouraged, it's because of the way. You thought it would be an easy way, and it's a hard wilderness way. And when you don't have answers for your questions, no explanations as to why it seems everything's going wrong. And then on top of that, you're waiting and waiting and waiting. This breeds discouragement. Discouragement is born when we compare ourselves with somebody else. When we begin to compare ourselves with somebody else, but let me tell you what ought to cause great joy to come to your life is if you'd stop comparing yourself to other people and you would just remember where you came from and remember where you started. You're doing more, you're seeing more, you're achieving more. But if you start comparing yourself with someone else, you can get discouraged because they're doing more maybe than you're doing. But the greatest way to get on your feet and praise the Lord is just think about where I came from. Just think about where I am today. And it's encouraging to not compare yourself with others, but to remember how far you've come and where you started. Another area that causes discouragement, and this is so important, is trying to force fruit out of season. The Bible said as long as the earth exists, there's seed, time, and harvest. There's seed, there's the promise, and then there's the promise, but there's time between seed, time, notice seed, time, promise. You can't ignore the time. When a woman is pregnant, the doctor gives her a due date. And that's why the scripture said, do not be weary in well-doing, for there is a season called due season. And in due season, you will reap if you don't faint. So hear the word of the Lord today. Many people are trying to get fruit in the season before it's due. And the point is, you cannot force something to happen out of season, and you have to learn to wait. But many people get discouraged. Discouragement will cause a loss of enthusiasm about life, about purpose, about life in general, about everything. A discouraged person is a person who has lost passion and enthusiasm. Isolation is a glaring symptom of discouragement. The devil wants you to isolate yourself, pull away from people, pull away from family, get discouraged, get depressed, cave in emotionally, and separate, isolate yourself. And when anytime the enemy isolates you, it's to devastate you. When you feel least like coming, that's the sign you need to get here the most. Another symptom of discouragement is paralysis. Discouragement will freeze your actions. The paralysis of analysis. You're discouraged and you're afraid to do anything and take any chance and any risk. You know, if you're not careful, discouragement will halt your advancement. It'll cause you to just not trust your own judgment and have the courage to make the right decision. Discouragement, notice this in the Bible, will affect your speech. When they got discouraged, they started murmuring and complaining. And discouragement always shows up in your talk. Your words will be slurred with negativism. Your words will be slurred with whining and self-pity. Another symptom and sign of discouragement is a loss of inspiration, a loss of motivation, a loss of aggression about life. And when your get up and go has got up and went, you're discouraged. Discouragement is the despair of wounded self-love. Discouragement produces cowards. The very word discouragement means to basically just suck the courage out, draw and drain the courage out of a person. To be discouraged is to lose all courage. You will not step out. You will not risk. You will not try. Discouragement will make you a coward if you let it stay.
Sometimes your life will be in a slump, just like sports. Some of the best shooters can't hit baskets different times in games. They get in a slump. Do they sit on the sideline and say, I just didn't hit a basket today? No, they continue to execute. I suggest to you that if you are facing a challenge, don't stop. Stay busy, work your plan. Continue to do those things that you know that work for you after you have evaluated yourself in the situation. Continue to move, stay busy, stay busy, stay busy. Repeat out to me, help somebody. And help yourself. Because what you give is what you get. Find somebody that you can help so you can forget about you for a moment. See, sometimes the best thing to do is to be. Sometimes you have to just back up and go within yourself. A bow and arrow, you can't take a bow and just push it out an arrow. You just can't push the arrow out. You have to pull it back and then release it. Sometimes you have to back up and go within and pray and meditate and recharge your batteries. Go away, clear your head, and then come back and look at it from a different vantage point. Don't operate while you're under the spell or the effect of what's going on.